There are over 300 programs in the United States right now that will charge you less money for the exact same product, the exact same seat, the exact same service, purely because of your age. Not a government handout, not a means-tested poverty program, a birthday discount, and here's the part nobody puts in the headline. If you take those savings and route them into a low-cost index fund, instead of absorbing them into your general spending, you are looking at over $200,000 in additional retirement wealth over a 20-year window. From asking a question, from showing up on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, from knowing the hidden menu exists. The hidden menu, that's what I'm calling this. Every restaurant has one. The specials, the waiter doesn't announce, the price the regulars get, the deal that exists but only for the people who know to ask. After 55, you are officially a regular everywhere in America. The hidden menu is real, it's funded, and it is sitting there waiting for you to order from it. The problem is that nobody hands it to you. And every day you walk in and order off the regular menu, full price, full rate, no questions asked, is a day you left money on the table that you will never get back. By the way, I built a free early retirement calculator because most online ones are mathematically wrong. It uses BlackRock and Vanguard logic to expose the weak points in your plan, and I only ask for your email to send the report so I don't store any of your financial data. Link in the description. In a few minutes, I'm going to show you how stacking these discounts across just 4 categories can generate the equivalent of a part-time salary, completely tax-free, and what happens when you invest the difference instead of spending it. But first, here's why the system is more broken and frankly more generous than you've been led to believe. Let's start with the category that surprises people the most. Not because the discounts are the largest, but because of the sheer number of people who spend 30, 40 years shopping at the same store and never once get told about the discount they qualify for. Groceries. Harris Teeter gives 5% off every Thursday for shoppers 55 and older. Albertsons does the same on specific days depending on region. Fred Meyer runs 10% off for seniors on select Wednesdays. Safeway and Vons have their own programs. Piggly Wiggly, and yes, that is still a real chain operating across the South, knocks 5% off weekly for seniors. H-E-B, which dominates Texas, has senior discount hours at select locations. A person in their mid-50s spending $700 a month on groceries who captures a 5% discount saves $35 a month. That is $420 a year from one store on a category you were going to spend on regardless. You didn't change your behavior. You didn't coupon clip. You showed up on a different day of the week, flashed your ID, and the register printed a smaller number. That's the whole move. But here's what nobody is telling you. Most people treat those $35 as a pleasant surprise and spend them immediately. They evaporate. And that's the leak, not in the discount system, but in what happens to the savings afterward. Because $35 a month invested consistently at the historical S&P 500 10-year average of about 10% annually becomes approximately $26,000 over 20 years from the grocery discount alone. That's the hidden menu math, and nobody puts it on the menu. There's a guy, I'll call him Frank, who retired at 62 in Phoenix. Smart man, did everything reasonably right. Had his 401k, owned his house free and clear, was drawing Social Security at 62, which I'll circle back to because that specific decision has about 47 different angles to it. Frank knew senior discounts existed. He used them occasionally. AARP membership, restaurant deals here and there, but he treated the savings the way most people treat found money: nice, unexpected, gone. His discount savings had no destination. His brother-in-law, a guy I'll call Dave, had a different system. Dave had a spreadsheet, not a mental list, an actual spreadsheet with 6 columns: category, previous monthly cost, new monthly cost, monthly savings, annual savings, and investment destination. Every time Dave activated a new discount or switched to a senior rate on any recurring expense, he logged it. And at the end of every month, he transferred the total calculated savings into what he called his lazy fund, a separate brokerage account holding exactly one thing: a total market index fund with an expense ratio of 0.03% annually. That's it. No stock picking, no timing the market, no watching charts at 2 in the morning, boring, systematic, automatic. I'm gonna come back to Frank and Dave because the numbers at the end of their story are the kind that make people quietly reopen their brokerage account at 11 at night. But first, let's talk about the category where the hidden menu gets genuinely absurd: cell phones. T-Mobile has a plan called Magenta 55 Plus. As of 2025, 2 lines of unlimited data run around $50 per month. The equivalent unlimited plan for a non-senior customer is over $110 per month. Same network, same towers, same speeds, same service. T-Mobile does not run television commercials for the 55 plus plan. They don't put it on billboards. They don't mention it when you walk in asking about unlimited options. You have to know to ask, or you have to find the URL. Verizon has senior pricing in select markets that can save $15 to $25 monthly. AT&T's senior adjacent options depend on plan and state. Consumer Cellular and Mint Mobile built their entire business models around the over 50 market and price accordingly. The average American over 55 pays around $115 to $120 per month on their cell phone plan based on industry surveys. The senior alternatives average around 55 to 65. Call it a $60 monthly gap. That's $720 a year on a service you are paying for regardless. Same bars on your phone, smaller number on your bill. And here is the thing about this specific category that I find genuinely funny in a mildly infuriating kind of way. Cell phone carriers deliberately obscure senior pricing because their margin on the standard plan is higher. They are not hiding it out of embarrassment. They are hiding it because every customer who discovers it costs them $40 to $60 a month in revenue. This is not a conspiracy. This is basic revenue optimization. The incentive structure is pointed directly at your wallet and you are on the wrong side of it until you go find the program. By the way, hit subscribe if you like the content. Otherwise, YouTube's algorithm may never show you my videos again. And what's coming next is where this gets genuinely uncomfortable because we're going to talk about the programs that should have a government website with flashing arrows pointing to them, but somehow never come up at the financial advisor's office. The America the Beautiful Senior Pass, $80, one time, lifetime. Every national park, every federal recreational land, every site managed by the National Park Service, the Forest Service, the Bureau of Land Management, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and the Army Corps of Engineers. Every single one, forever, for $80. If you have ever paid $35 to drive through Yellowstone, or $25 to enter Zion, or $20 to park at a national forest trailhead, you already understand the math. 2 visits to any national park, and the pass is paid for itself. After that, every visit is free for the rest of your life. This is one of the cleanest value calculations in personal finance. And it is available at 62, not 65. 62 or at any age with a qualifying permanent disability. Now here's a category that turns from interesting to genuinely significant. Property taxes. Every single state in America has some version of a property tax exemption or relief program for older homeowners. Not a rumor, not a specific county thing. Every state, some form of it. The specifics vary dramatically, but the structure exists everywhere. In Florida, the senior homestead exemption for households earning under $32,000 annually can reduce assessed value by up to $50,000. In Texas, and this is the one that gets people homeowners 65 and older get an additional $10,000 exemption on top of the standard homestead exemption. And school district property taxes get frozen. Your school district tax bill cannot go up, regardless of what the property market does. In Illinois, the Senior Citizens Assessment Freeze locks your assessed value at the year you apply. So even if your neighborhood doubles in value over the next decade, your assessed value for tax purposes stays flat. In New York, the STAR program can reduce school property taxes by 50% for qualifying seniors. A retiree in a Texas suburb paying $4,000 a year in property taxes who locks in the senior school district freeze in a market where property values are appreciating at 5 to 8% annually saves a compounding amount that adds up to potentially $20,000 to $30,000 in avoided taxes over 15 years on a house they already own, without moving, without doing anything except filing a form one time. The catch, and there is always a catch, is that these programs are administered at the county assessor level. They have income and age thresholds that vary, and they typically require annual renewal or a one-time application with periodic verification, which means the county has no structural incentive to remind you to apply. The flow of incentives runs the other direction. Unclaimed exemptions are just money the county keeps. There's something specifically funny to me about the architecture of these systems. The government writes a benefit into law, then buries the application 3 clicks deep on a county assessor's website that hasn't been updated since 2011. And then the participation rate is 40% of eligible residents. And nobody in an official capacity is particularly alarmed about that. It's like hiding a fire exit behind a bookshelf and then expressing genuine surprise when the building doesn't fully empty. This is where it gets really interesting and where Frank and Dave's story becomes directly relevant. At 65, Frank had captured maybe $900 a year in senior discounts. He felt good about it. He was eating at Denny's on Senior's Day, had his AARP card, remembered to ask for hotel senior rates maybe half the time. His savings had no structure. They dissolved into his monthly spending and were functionally invisible. Meanwhile, Dave had his spreadsheet. Dave's monthly discount capture at 65 looked like this. Groceries at his local Kroger affiliate, 5% on Thursdays, saves $28 a month. Cell phone, switched to T-Mobile 55 plus 2 years earlier, saves $63 a month. Car insurance, called his insurer at 55, mentioned clean record, got a safe driver, and senior rate combined, saves $37 a month. Hotel bookings, routes all travel through the AARP travel portal, which consistently underprices Expedia by 8 to 15% on comparable properties, saves on average $32 per hotel night. Books, 6 nights a year, saves $192 annually or $16 per month averaged. National parks, $80 pass bought at 62 has since entered national parks 18 times. Effective savings over entry fees he would have paid is approximately $430. Property taxes. Filed the senior exemption in his Texas county at 65. Saves $960 annually, or $80 a month. His total recurring monthly savings, $224 per month, without changing his lifestyle in any meaningful way. Same phone, same groceries, same car, same trips, same house. He switched the day he shops, the plan he uses, the portal he books through, and filed one form at the county assessor's office. $224 a month, invested at a conservative 7% annual return over 15 years, approximately $73,000. From asking questions that took a combined 3 hours of research over one Saturday afternoon, Frank saw Dave's spreadsheet at 68. He sat with it for a long time. Then he asked if Dave could help him set one up. The thing is, and this is the part I find genuinely important, Frank isn't uniquely careless with money. He's normal. He's the default. Most people, when they save money, experience a momentary positive feeling and then let the savings dissolve into their spending without any deliberate redirection. That's not laziness. That's how human brains process financial information. We are wired to treat money as fungible. $5 saved feels the same as $5 earned, which means it gets spent at the same rate as earned money, which means it never compounds. The system Dave built removes that problem. The money never touches his general account. It goes directly from his checking to the lazy fund. His brain never has the opportunity to spend it because it's never available to spend. This is behavioral finance in practice. Not motivation, not discipline, structure. Structure beats willpower every single time over a 30-year investment horizon. Let me give you a concrete case study, because the abstract numbers only stick when you can put a face on them. Let's call him Robert. Robert is 58, lives in the Dallas suburbs, earns about $90,000 a year from a combination of consulting income, and some rental property. He has $450,000 in his 401k, a paid-off house worth $390,000, and he spends about $5,400 a month on living expenses. This is a completely realistic profile for someone in this audience. Robert does not currently use any senior discounts. He's 58. He works out. He doesn't feel 58. He would describe himself as someone who doesn't really think about that stuff yet. This framing is costing him money in a number, and that number is specific. Robert's hidden menu audit takes one Saturday morning. He goes through his 6 largest spending categories. Groceries. His local Tom Thumb affiliate participates in the Albertsons Senior Discount Day, 5% off every first Wednesday of the month. He spends $680 a month on groceries. Savings, $34 a month. Cell phone. He's paying $132 a month for an individual unlimited line on a major carrier. He calls and asks about the 55 plus options. He switches. New bill, $54 a month. Savings, $78 a month. Car insurance. He has a clean driving record. He's 58. He's been with the same insurer for 11 years. He calls and specifically asks for a loyalty and senior adjacent safe driver discount review. His rate drops by $31 a month. Property taxes. He makes a note to file the Texas senior exemption the month he turns 65, which is 7 years away. He sets a calendar reminder. He also discovers his county has an additional over 65 exemption he wasn't aware of, worth potentially $800 annually at current assessed values. Hotels and travel, he starts booking through AARP's portal. He travels 3 times a year for leisure, averages 4 hotel nights per trip. His average nightly rate drops by about 12%. Annual savings, approximately $320 or $27 a month average. Total monthly savings from Robert's hidden menu audit, $170 a month, rising to approximately $237 a month when the property tax exemptions kick in at 65. Robert opens a Roth IRA because at 58 he still qualifies, and the over 50 catch-up contribution limit under the Secure 2.0 Act is $8,000 annually as of 2025, indexed for inflation going forward. He sets up an automatic transfer. Every month, $170 goes into the Roth IRA. He invests it in a total market index fund charging point, 0.03% annually. He adds nothing else to this account. He doesn't touch it. Over 15 years at 7% average annual return, approximately $54,000 tax-free on withdrawal from discounts, from a system that was already built, already funded, already available, and that Robert had been quietly ignoring for 3 years after turning 55. Now, I want to address something directly because I know exactly what's happening in the back of your mind right now. You're thinking, Tom, this feels small. I came here for financial strategy, not grocery coupons. And I get it. That reaction is rational. It's also wrong. And here's why. The psychological resistance to senior discounts is the same resistance that keeps people from switching to low-fee index funds, from rebalancing their portfolio annually, from rolling over a dormant 401k from an old employer that's sitting in a default money market fund earning 0.8%. It's not complexity, it's identity. Robert doesn't claim senior discounts because, in his own internal story, he is not the kind of person who claims senior discounts. He's the guy who still works out. He's the guy who still earns. He's the guy who doesn't need the 5% off. And that identity story is costing him, in his specific case, $54,000 over 15 years. Here's the thing about behavioral finance that I think is actually important. The field exists because economists built models assuming people made rational decisions, and the models kept being wrong. Not slightly wrong, spectacularly wrong. Because humans don't make financial decisions with spreadsheets. They make them with stories about who they are. And those stories have a cost that almost nobody calculates. The cell phone carrier knows this. They know that a 52-year-old man with a healthy income doesn't like to think of himself as someone who needs a senior plan. So they don't call it a senior plan in any customer-facing material. They call it the 55 plus plan, and they put it on a page that's 4 clicks from the homepage. They get to charge full price to every customer whose identity investment in not being a senior is stronger than their interest in saving $78 a month. That's not cynicism. That's audience psychology deployed as a pricing strategy. When you understand these discounts not as charity, but as an incentive structure, a program created because your demographic represents loyal, high-spending, reliable customers that businesses actively want to retain, the identity problem dissolves. You're not claiming a senior discount because you're old. You're claiming it because you understand how the system works and you know which side of the incentive to be on. That reframe is worth real money. There's something else I want to cover in this part, because it's a category people consistently overlook: entertainment and cultural access. Many museums in major American cities offer free or significantly discounted admission to seniors. The Museum of Modern Art in New York City, free for members and discounted for adults over 65. The Smithsonian Institution's entire complex of 19 museums in Washington, D.C., always free, but senior-specific programs for guided access and programming. Local theaters, not Broadway, but regional and community theater, routinely offer senior pricing that can be 30 to 50% below standard ticket prices. National theater chains like AMC and Regal offer senior pricing on matinees that typically runs $2 to $4 below standard adult pricing. If you go to the movies twice a month, that's $4 to $8 saved per month, $48 to $96 per year. Not life-changing individually, but part of the stack. And this is where the concept of stacking becomes the actual point. The hidden menu isn't about any single discount being transformative. It's about what happens when you activate the menu across every category simultaneously. Grocery discount, phone plan, insurance, hotel portal, property taxes, entertainment, pharmacy loyalty, gym through Medicare Advantage, National Parks Pass. None of those individually is going to change your retirement. All of them together, redirected to a single investment account, is a second income stream built entirely from money you were already spending. Let me spend a moment on travel specifically, because for people in the 55 to 65 range, travel spending often increases as work obligations decrease, and the hidden menu in this category is particularly rich. Amtrak offers 15% off the lowest available fare for passengers 65 and older. This applies to most train routes in the country. Greyhound has senior discount programs. Airlines are more complicated. Senior fares largely disappeared in the 90s as yield management systems made static discounts obsolete. But AARP's travel portal often surfaces rates that beat the public-facing prices by negotiating bulk agreements with hotel and car rental partners. On car rentals, Hertz, Avis, and National all have AARP discount rates that typically run between 5 and 20% below the standard corporate rate, depending on the vehicle, class, and location. If you're renting cars 4 to 6 times a year for leisure travel, that's a meaningful annual savings. Enterprise sometimes has specific senior weekend rates. And cruise lines, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity all run senior promotions throughout the year that can include onboard credits, cabin upgrades, or discounts on the base fare. Carnival in particular has documented senior pricing that appears in AARP-affiliated booking channels that doesn't appear in direct booking. Now stay with me, because this next part changes everything, and it's the piece that almost nobody in the personal finance conversation actually addresses. The fees you're paying on your investments, not the fees you get discounts on, but the fees you're paying your financial products are the hidden menu in reverse. They're the thing the industry keeps off the menu because putting them on the menu would cost them money. Over 30 years, a 1% annual fee on a $200,000 portfolio costs you $170,000 in lost compounding. That is not a rounding error. That is a second retirement account that you gave to someone else's kids. A 1.5% annual fee on a $500,000 portfolio is $7,500 per year going out the door. If your actively managed fund is beating a Vanguard Total Market Index fund net of fees, and some do, great. But according to S&P Dow Jones Indices' annual SPIVA report, over a 15-year period ending in 2024, approximately 88% of actively managed large-cap funds underperformed their benchmark index net of fees. 88% over 15 years. The benchmark that a 0.03% expense ratio fund just matches automatically, this is the same hidden menu logic applied to your portfolio. The off-menu item, the boring one, the one they're not enthusiastic about showing you, is the low-cost index fund. It outperforms in the long run. It costs almost nothing to hold, and it requires exactly 0 skill, 0 time, and 0 ongoing management decisions. The main thing required is that you not touch it, which, if you set up automatic contributions from your lazy fund, is also handled automatically. I had an accountant early in my business career, a guy named Richard, who had a phrase I think about constantly. Every time I got excited about a specific strategy, he'd say, "Tom, the person who designed the system was not trying to help you, they were trying to help themselves." Find out where that leaves you. That reframe looking at any financial system and asking who designed it and what incentives they were following has been worth more to me practically than any specific investment. Decision. The senior discount system was designed by businesses that want loyal customers. Position yourself accordingly. The fee structure on most actively managed funds was designed by people who earn more money when your money is in their specific product. Position yourself accordingly. This is honestly the entire premise of how I think about finance. The system has a menu. The recommended items benefit the house. The off-menu items are where the actual value lives. Your job is to learn the menu. Let's close the loop on Frank and Dave because their story ends in a way that's worth sitting with for a second. At 70, Frank was comfortable. He was doing fine. He had his Social Security, his 401k distributions, his paid-off house. He was spending more carefully than he expected, making modest adjustments to his lifestyle. Nothing dramatic. The normal managed decline of drawing down retirement assets while hoping the market cooperates. Dave, at 70, had the same Social Security, the same 401k structure, the same general demographic profile. And he had a lazy fund that had grown to over $94,000 from 12 years of systematically investing his discount savings at an average return of 7%. He hadn't changed jobs. He hadn't taken on additional risk. He hadn't gotten lucky on anything. He had turned the hidden menu into a second investment account, slowly and boringly, over a decade and a bit. He called the total saved-in fees avoided, discount captures, and Roth contributions from the lazy fund his ask tax. Every time he asked for something and got it, he taxed himself the same amount into the fund. Frank asked Dave why his retirement felt easier. Dave pulled up the spreadsheet. Lazy investing built more fortune than crypto memes. Here are the 3 things I want you to do this week, and I mean specific actions, not inspiration, not think about your spending, but actual calendar blocking, form filing, account opening moves. First, do a hidden menu audit of your 6 largest recurring spending categories: groceries, phone plan, car insurance, streaming subscriptions, hotel and travel bookings, dining. For each one, spend 5 minutes researching the senior rate or senior program. Write the dollar amounts down on paper. Your brain will not treat this as real money until you have a number in your handwriting. The research will take less than 2 hours total. The annual savings will likely be over $1,000. That is a 500 to 1 return on your Saturday morning. Second, open a dedicated account. Call it whatever you want: lazy fund, ask tax, hidden menu account, and set up a recurring automatic transfer equal to your monthly discount savings. If the audit finds $150 a month in savings, auto transfer $150 to this account on the first of every month, invest it in a total market or S&P 500 index fund with an expense ratio below 0.1%. Do not touch it. Do not watch it. Let it compound. Third, file the paperwork you've been procrastinating on. Property tax senior exemption if you're 65 or within 12 months of it. Silver sneakers verification with your Medicare Advantage plan if you're enrolled. America the Beautiful Senior Pass if you haven't bought it. Roth IRA catch-up contribution if you're 50 or older. These are legal provisions that exist specifically for your situation, sitting unclaimed because no one mailed you the brochure. The IRS didn't put the catch-up contribution in the code by accident. Someone lobbied for it. Make sure you're on the right side of it. The hidden menu is real. It exists at the grocery store, at the cell phone carrier, at the county assessor's office, at the national park entrance gate, at the hotel booking portal, in your Medicare Advantage plan documents. It is not going anywhere, but it is also not going to find you. You have to know to ask, you have to set up the structure to capture the savings, and you have to redirect the money before your brain finds something else to do with it. The system has a menu. Most people never see it. Now you do. Lazy investing built more fortune than crypto memes. The fact that these programs are obscure is not an oversight. It's a feature. The less you know, the more full price they collect. Act accordingly.